They don't ever go down? Texas Tech National Signing Day show for the 2023 class. I'm Robert Giovanetti. We're excited to bring you the entire class, but even more excited to be joined by the head coach himself, Joey McGuire. Coach, think about this. A year ago, you and I sat similar spot here, and you'd been on a job about a month.
Right.
And you signed that class, you put that class together. Where you are now, what's this year been like to getting to where we are today?
You know, incredible. I mean, I don't think our fan base really understands how important they are in recruiting. And, you know, everybody that we signed today, they've been on campus, they've been to games, they've seen what Texas Tech is all about. And, man, it's a really good class. I'm pretty excited. I know I'm always excited,
Always
but today's
excited, right.
a special day for Texas Tech.
Hey, you were saying when you got here, it's important to keep kids in West Texas.
Right.
And you did that, right? You guys are making all of Texas West Texas, but
No doubt.
the traditional West Texas kids, you did a good job of putting a fence around.
We did, man. We signed 7 of the best in West Texas, and you know, and one that's a local kid that Mama played here, and got a picture this morning. She had a tear in her eye, you know, and I don't think that was just West Texas in my eye. I think that was a tear in her eye. So, you know, it was fun. This group is really special, and the guys that stayed home are really special.
And we'll talk about it a lot too, but you made a point, O-line and D-line, and good guys too, right? When we're looking at the rivals rankings, this is a highly ranked recruiting class.
It is. You know, the thing that we wanted to do with this class, I mean, we wanted to hit, you know, I think we hit every position besides tight end, and we have some really good tight ends coming back, and so had a really good group. But we wanted to get really fast, and we wanted to get longer and bigger, and that's what we did in this class. I mean, in the O-line, D-line, a bunch of really, really good athletes, but I mean, some guys that are really physical, and I think Red Raider Nation is going to be really excited to watch these guys grow and the way they play and the attitude they play with.
We're going to be here for about 30 minutes or so talking about this class, but you already set it up. A word we're going to hear a lot: speed.
Oh, it's the fastest class in the nation.
Crazy, right? That's
probably, I mean, and that's documented. It's not a deal to where, you know, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to go on to their signing day and we did this, and this. Documented speed times, we have the fastest class in the nation. And I think by the effort that we play with, and then you put that kind of speed and match it together, it's going to be a scary thing to watch whenever people come out here to Lubbock and have to play in our stadium.
Hey, you guys are building something. Won 3 games in a row to end the season. We're going to go to the Texas Bowl on December 28th. We're going to know the schedule in January, but man, you've been saying it.
Yeah.
Get your dang season tickets.
Oh, you got to. I mean, it's something. I mean, we did a great job this year. We had some sellouts. I mean, we were right at 58,000. You know, but 58,000 is not enough. I mean, every single week that we come into Jones AT&T, we should be playing in front of a sellout. Now, we're not going to disappoint our fans by the way we play, and I think people can say that with the home games that we had this year, and you know, we need everybody to be a part of it.
You know, we should learn a lesson, right? We've sold out of season tickets in baseball. We've sold out of season tickets in men's basketball.
Right.
That's coming.
It's
in
coming.
football. So you want to get on that train early. All right, so we're just getting started here on the Signing Day Show. We come back, Coach McGuire will break down the defensive class here on the National Signing Day Show.
Has never been larger, never been louder, and there's no place crazier than West Texas today.
We take pride in the fact that we were the only university to participate in a football bowl game, the men's basketball tournament, as well as the NCAA baseball tournament. The only school in the state of Texas.
When you come to West Texas, folks, saddle up. You're going to go on a wild ride.
Yeah, we got here about midnight.
I got here like 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I love it.
I'm a fourth-generation Texas Tech student. You know, great-grandparents, grandparents, parents, me. Like this is my entire life. Is Texas Tech. So I've been waiting to do this for the past 18 years of my life, man. Like this is it.
Texas Tech, and what? I'm going with the Longhorns.
I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Me and Bianca got Texas.
Texas.
I think Texas wins.
Wow, that's scary.
That's the thing that people miss out. They get caught up into who you're playing and this and that, instead of focusing on the guys to the right and left of you, focusing on doing your job, focus on straining for your brother. That's what it's all about. It gives you an opportunity to win. And we have a great opportunity today. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I promise you, if you keep being the brand, we will take them somewhere they've never been, somewhere they don't want to go, but you got to keep after it. Snap after snap after snap. Good things happen. What's next? Bad things happen. What's next? And believe in that. And it will be enough.
Smith is going to keep it. Smith, touchdown! Great decision. Go for it and punch it in. Left back and then over receiver left side. Touchdown! Smile on his face and said, "What's next?" Coach going deep and now it's intercepted. Field behind Gardner makes a great catch, gets the handoff, he gets the touchdown, Red Raiders. Point away from this game being tied. 45-yard field goal try to put Texas Tech ahead. Good! Texas will get it into 25 to even have a shot. What do you think? You got to get 35 yards or so to have a chance with no timeouts. We'll see if they can pull off a miracle. Texas for the answer. Kick on the way. And it is good! With no time on the clock. We're going to overtime. Chains of 2008, right? Kick up, kick, good! And the Red Raiders celebration can begin. A crazy game. Here in Lubbock, 37-34 the final.
Signing Day Show here for Texas Tech on ESPN Plus. Robert Giovanetti alongside the head coach Joey McGuire. And Coach, we're going to talk about 24 guys you signed.
Right.
Important though, 11, maybe even more, going to show up midterm, and that's how important is that for the program?
Man, it's huge. We have 11 guys. They'll move in January 7th. We'll have a team meeting January 10th, and they'll be in classes and lifting January 11th.
That's crazy, right?
I mean,
there.
it
High
is.
School and go from right to that.
Yeah, they're excited too. Where it's big is being able to lift with our strength staff, and then also they're going to get a lot of spring ball, a lot of reps. We're going to talk about them, but we signed 3 DBs that, I think they can make an impact next year, and it's going to be good to have them. All 3 of them are coming in mid-year.
All right, let's get to the class. We'll start on the defense, as we mentioned on the line. Amir Washington out of Orange, Texas. You talk about him, you say disruptive.
Man, just a physical kid. He's from Little Cypress there in Orange, Texas. And, you know, the thing I love about him is he can play a 5 technique, a 9 technique. He can play a 4 technique. He's just so physical. And then he plays with Red Raider speed and violence already. I mean, when you pop his tape on, he is running to the football like his hair's on fire. And he has just got an attitude. And then just a great kid, great family. Really excited about him.
All right, we'll move on now to Ansel Nadori. He's from Round Rock.
Yep.
And it must be a smart kid. He wants to major in quantum physics.
Yeah, he is.
Did you talk to him a lot about the benefits
yeah,
of
he and
quantum
I,
physics?
whenever we talk about quantum physics, we just, I don't know. I'm going to have to find somebody else that maybe Quentin Jordan can relate to quantum physics with him. You know, I love it. Another guy that can play on the edge, can play a 4 technique. You know, I got to coach a kid at the old place that's playing for the Vikings from Round Rock, James Lynch. And so this guy's a lot like him. You know, Ansel, very physical, very long. You know, and you're going to hear this a lot when we're talking about these defensive players and probably the O-linemen, is just they have a nastiness to them. They play with great effort. And it's not just on their highlight tape. It's every snap.
Yeah, and you like that, right? You like those guys. You want them to be nasty, mean, those kind of guys.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys, and then he also has a frame. He's like 240 right now, but he's got a frame that he could carry another 40 pounds, and it's not going to slow him down at all.
Staying in the Austin area, Maynard, Jaden Cofield. He's a track guy, a power lifter, strong guy.
He's a big boy. Now, like, whenever you're talking about Cofield, he is a true nose. He's 6'3", he's 320 pounds. I mean, he is a guy, I would compare him a lot like Boog and Tony Bradford. They're those kind of guys, and he's already got that bulk. He is a mid-year, and I think that's going to be really huge for him, you know, because he's a guy that can come in and get some really good reps in the spring.
Talk about another big kid. How about Braylon Rigsby? And looking at his stats, he gets involved in special teams. He can disrupt kicks. He's going to be a guy that's really effective.
You know, what you'll see a lot with these D linemen is they're very versatile because they can play inside and outside. You know, his head coach was a Red Raider, so that's always good. You know, helped us, you know, put a fence around that guy to where he wouldn't go anywhere else. He's a mid-year, so he's going to be able to come in and get a lot of reps. He and Amir are very, very similar with the effort that they play. Whenever you watch those guys, it's violence. And as a football coach, you really love that violence. And I'm really excited. You know, I got to talk to him right before we came in and had a huge smile on his face. Incredible parents, comes from a great home, and you know, we're really excited about him.
A guy from Orange on the outside, an outside linebacker, Dylan Spencer. You don't throw this around a lot. You saw maybe another Tyree Wilson eventually. He
is. I mean, you know, he was a guy that you know, we had talked to a lot, and we were able to get him late. He visited last week. A kid played at C.E. King, played for a great head coach. He had 75 tackles. He had over 20-plus tackles for a loss, and he had 9 sacks this year. And we didn't put it on his highlight, but there is a highlight of him chasing a running back. He didn't catch him, but he almost caught him, and the running back runs a 10-4. And so it just shows, I mean, he reminds me so much of Tyree, because you don't see a lot of long guys like that will run and throw their bodies, and that's what he does. Dylan's special.
And you think about it, he's just getting started on his growth and whatever else, you know, the weight he's going to add here too.
And another mid-year. I mean, he will be here January 7th, and you know, he's going to play that. We'll start him off, you know, as that F, the field end, and maybe play some boundary in, but he'll get a ton of reps this spring.
Talked about keeping the kids local. Isaiah Crawford from right down the road in Post.
One of my favorite guys for a long time. He was one of our first commits. He and I have an incredible relationship. This is a kid as a sophomore, ran at the state track meet and was an anchor on the 4x4 at 230 pounds. So another guy, you know, he's a 3-sport athlete, you know, from Post, Texas, and he's kind of like the silent assassin. He's always smiling. He doesn't say a whole lot. but he just plays football, and he'll be the boundary, and we'll start like he'll be over there with Isaac Smith and Josiah Pierre. That's where we see him fitting in.
All right, another local guy, John Curry from Coronado High School.
Well, Mama's happy. You know,
he's got the bloodlines. That's what I was going to say.
He does. You know, and his mom played here and played on one of our best women's basketball teams of all time, and you know what I love about him. One, he's so versatile. I think he can play inside linebacker and outside linebacker. He's played a lot of football and a lot of baseball. Really good baseball player. But he's one of those guys, man, I don't know how big he's going to get. I mean, he's just, every time I see him, he seems like he gets taller and taller. And just a great kid's he's a guy that's got a really high football IQ.
All right, we talked about keeping the kids local. How about you guys went out to Charleston, South Carolina, got Michael Dingle. Good size. He's also a hurdler. I mean, you see with a guy like that, we talked about these big guys running.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about speed, and you're going to hear that a lot. We signed the fastest class in the nation. There's going to be a lot of people today that say, hey, we signed this class, this class. The good thing is ours is in black and white. We can prove it. It is the fastest class in the nation. To give you an idea about this guy, he can go run for Coach Kitley and at some point can win the Big 12. There's another guy that we signed that will be right there with him, so it'd be head-to-head with two linebackers. But he was third in the nation in the 110 hurdles.
In the nation?
In the nation. Okay. He was number one in South Carolina. He was third in the nation, and he's a guy that's over 200 pounds.
You don't see a lot of times hurdlers with that kind of size.
No, and I think Blanchard has the exact stats and everything, but there's been like 12 guys that have ran this fast that also play football. 8 of them were drafted in the NFL, and we've got 11 and 12 that are signing in this class. So, you know, Bookbinder's got a little pressure on him. I mean, he's got to develop these guys and develop in the NFL. Mid-year, he will be here January 7th. So a guy that's going to get, you know, we're losing our starting 2 linebackers with Krishan and Kosai, so he's a guy that's going to get a lot of reps.
Some good opportunities for these guys coming at mid-year. Another guy from out of state, Justin Horn from New Orleans, he's a karate guy.
So his dad is an 8th degree black belt.
Wow.
You know, and is a sensei. He's a teacher, has multiple dojos, and then Justin is a 3rd degree black belt. And so his mom said today, make sure you take care of my baby. And I said, don't worry, I think your dad would kick my tail if I didn't. He is number 8 in the nation in the hurdles. And both of these guys that we expect to run for Coach Kitley when they get here, but he's a guy that's over 200 pounds, just won the state championship in football in Louisiana. So you think about a guy like that, great discipline, he's a winner, and he's really, really fast. And so
does that translate to a guy, you think about karate, hands and feet, that translates to football skills as well?
What I'm really anxious to see, and I think it will, you know, when you're rushing the passer, especially from the linebacker, when you're blitzing, I mean, there's natural pass rushers. I expect him to be that natural pass rusher because of his hands and the balance that he has. So excited about him.
All right, we got back in state, Jordan Sanford out of Mansfield, also a guy that you think might play fast.
Yes.
Might play immediately.
Mid-year. Yep, he'll be here January 7th. He ran in the state track meet last year in the 100. He is a 10.5. He'll go, you know, 10.3. I think before it's all said and done. He's a kid that I watched a couple weeks ago, and followed in the playoffs. Followed one of the highest recruited receivers around in the nation, and gave up 2 catches for 5 yards. I mean, he's a guy that's going to be able to come in and impact us. And with our corner situation, we got 2 old guys coming back, and then we have some really, really young guys. He'll be one of those guys that'll be able to come in and get a ton of reps whenever it comes to the corner position.
Man, I start thinking about this defensive backfield in the years to come. Again, a lot of speed. Now a guy from Iowa, Miles Thompson, 100-meter guy, 200-meter guy.
He's a guy that can really run. He's got some great length. We feel like we really got a steal there, because a guy that probably will tell you, and I'll tell you, is under-recruited, that I guess they don't watch tape in certain parts of the country of guys how fast they are.
Okay.
And so he's going to be able to come in and make an impact for us.
Probably stereotype. Who thinks of Iowa guys as fast, right?
Yeah, and when they're running fast, they're probably running really, really fast if you get them down here in the warm weather of Texas.
Oh, yeah.
And
loosen them up and everything else. Kid from Mansfield, Brennan Jordan, you talked about his physicality.
He is another mid-year. Will be here January 7th. It's huge. That's a huge sign for us because a guy that he's going to, a lot of people will think is a lot like Muddy, our strong safety. I mean, he's a lot like Muddy Waters. And so we're expecting him to play our star. That's what we call that position. He will, with Muddy leaving, and then we signed a kid that's a Texas kid that's coming back home. But he'll go in there and probably get second team reps right off the bat. And so excited. When you watch his highlight film, he's a guy that's really coming downhill, running the alley and hitting people.
All right, we got Chapman Lewis from Burleson. Again, another kid whose mom was a good athlete.
I'm going to tell you one of the coolest stories. First of all, he's a mid-year. He is going to play free safety, so he'll be where Rabbit plays. So he'll get a lot of reps. But my sister was his elementary school principal.
Oh, wow.
And whenever his mom dropped him off the very first day, she, of course, is crying. And my sister put her arm around her and said, "Don't worry, Mama, I got him." Whenever he committed, he called my sister first, and then I told Mom on the official visit, "This is really cool. The McGuire family has him." And I put my arm around her and said, "Don't worry, Mama, I got him."
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
so
great
really
story.
cool.
How about, in the official, I officially feel old. I remember how great Derek White was at OU. Now we've got Anthony White from Abernathy, who's his grandson.
Right. He, a young man that is, we're going to see what he can do at DB, but he could play receiver. He's just such a great athlete. And, we're excited. I know another guy that we kept home, that we kept in West Texas, and that was really important. And excited to see where he ends up. That's one thing about us. We're just trying to get guys that can really play, guys that can play a lot of different positions, and we'll figure out where to put them. Another
West Texas kid, Marcus Ramon Edwards from Abilene. You call him the human highlight reel.
He is. I mean, he's playing right now for Trinity Christian. I've seen so many dunks. And then whenever I did the in-home visit, I think he's grown an inch. I mean, I think he's over 6'3" now. And he's 200 pounds. And just a guy that
You look at him, you think he put some weight on.
I mean, we were talking about him the other day. He can play receiver, he can play safety, but he might end up playing outside linebacker if he just continues to grow. Extremely explosive. Extremely explosive. And, man, one of the neatest families I've ever been around whenever it comes to doing an in-home visit and just how much they love each other.
And great. They can just drive up the road to come watch him play. And we'll end up the defensive class out of Shreveport, Louisiana. A guy must be tough, right? Goes by Macho, Marquez Stevenson.
So Marquez Stevenson will be, I think, the Triple Crown winner in Louisiana, the 100, 200, and 400. Wow. He is signing with us, and he will also run track for Coach Kitley. And those are not, Coach Kitley. That guy wants to win.
Yes.
And so you're not saying, hey, you're going to get to play football and run track unless you can really run. And Macho can flat out fly. And he's played both ways. He's played receiver and he's played DB. So there might be a deal where he's playing corner and have a package to where we're throwing the deep ball to him. But he's a guy that can just flat out fly. Another reason that we signed the fastest class, not only in Texas Tech history, but the fastest class in the nation today.
That's it on the defensive side. Who's more excited about this class? You or Coach Wes Kitley? Because, you stocked up his roster pretty good on this class as well.
Well, man, you're talking about just a family. I mean, he's out there and talking to him in the in-home visits. I mean, we make a call. Justin was in this weekend, and Coach Kitley's out there, meeting with the family. Yeah. And so just an amazing person, but he's pretty fired up too. We just created some sprinter depth
helped him out
for his team.
We're taking a look there at the defensive class on the screen. It's a great class. Looking forward to getting some of these guys here that you talked about midterm. When we come back, we'll look at the offensive side of the ball. You're watching the Texas Tech National Signing Day show here on ESPN+.
How far can you see from Texas Tech? Some believe thousands of miles. We believe we can see farther. From here, anything is possible. As Red Raiders, we always keep our eyes on the horizon. We look to change the future, as many before us have over the past 100 years. And we believe our best is still yet to come.
The battle is between your ears. Because I'm telling you right now, you are physically tough enough to go win this game. But are you mentally tough enough? The battle is between your ears.
Let's go.
Every day, in everything you do. The battle's between your ears. Am I mentally tough enough to be the brand today? Can I win that battle? We said it last night. The heat is in the tools. Do work. Guys, the heat is to the left and to the right of you. This is when I knew Sir Roger believed in what we were doing. It's because we're in the Jones, it was cold, and I said the energy comes from the dude to the right and left. That's who you play for. And he said, amen, coach. That's where it is. The heat's in the tools. The heat's doing your job. The heat's playing with energy. The heat's celebrating big plays. The heat's getting lined up over and over and over. The battle is between your ears. Take them somewhere they've never been, and they will lose that battle.
Tech 2023 National Signing Day Show. We're excited. 24 new Red Raiders. I'm Robert Giovanetti. He's Joey McGuire. A couple old Red Raiders, right? But we got 24 new ones. We just went through the defensive side. Let's start on offense. We talked a lot about keeping West Texas kids here. We'll start with Caden Carr. He was an early commit, and he gives you great size on the offensive line.
Great size. A Lubbock Cooper kid played this year, for Coach Darden, and just great young man. Brother played here at Texas Tech, 6'5", over 300 pounds, mid-year. He's got some nastiness, and as a football coach, you love that word, nasty, whenever you're talking about offensive line. I'm going to find out real quick who's nastier, Coach Hamby or him, because they are a lot alike.
Coach Hamby was pretty nasty.
He was, and he plays. He is a great guy off the field, but he plays with some real anger, and he's just he's a big kid. We're going to play him at guard, and excited that he's coming in early.
Watching his video, he finishes a guy off. Right?
Yes.
He doesn't just let the guy.
No.
He plays to the whistle.
He wants to make sure they know they're playing a football game. And football's physical, and he's one of those guys that wants to be really physical.
Another physical guy, Nick Foddy from League City. He comes from an athletic family. We talked about a lot of these guys have great bloodlines.
Well, this young man in his weight class won the junior nationals in Olympic lifting. And so he's very flexible. I mean, whenever you saw him, I went in the in-home, he's 280 pounds, and you couldn't tell that he was 280 pounds, just really lean, athletic young man. But another guy, I mean, the one thing that I could say about all four offensive linemen we signed, when you talk about those guys, they have a nasty streak to them, and he's one that can really finish a block.
Love that. Used to be we'd see these high school kids coming in, offensive line, like 260, 270. You don't see that anymore, right? These are big kids, including the next guy, Garrett Morphus from Monticello, Arkansas.
Yeah, he's a young man that has got a legit length. We're going to play him at tackle, 6'6". He's got some huge upside as far as whenever it comes to tackle, because it's hard to find guys that have that true length that can play tackle. A lot of guys, you're sitting there and you're going, are they athletic enough to play tackle? But they're not as long as you want them to be. Being at 6'6", he's 290 pounds. He's got some really good length.
How about this guy, Dylan Shaw? He's 300 pounds. He's from the Corpus Christi area, and he actually caught some passes too. I mean, that's a guy you don't want to have to cover out there.
Let me tell you, you're talking about an athletic big man. When you see this guy, I was shocked whenever he came in and did his whenever he came in and did his official visit, and we weighed him at 300 pounds. I don't know if he has any fat on him whatsoever. I mean, and so whenever you watch him, he's extremely physical, he's extremely athletic. In his last playoff game, he caught a touchdown. They pitched it to him, and he ran it in from 30 yards. And so just a guy that's really athletic, but another guy like Carr who has some real nastiness to his game.
Yeah, you can see there. I mean, he runs some people over. He's not the fridge. He can go a little bit when he goes. How about Daniel Sill out of College Station?
Daniel Sill, really cool story this morning. He was the first one. I guess Dingle was the first one to sign, but he was second. They're doing on family vacation in Orlando at Disney World, so he's seeing Mickey today, but he signed his scholarship before. Left tackle, really athletic. Love this guy. And mom and dad are incredible. His dad has a military background and is a guy that just, he lives and breathes toughness, and that was one thing he said when we first met is, I want my son to be a part of a tough program, and that screamed the brand, and this kid's the brand. He's gonna come in and be a special player. Another mid-year.
Yeah, got a lot of those mid-years just good to go. Let's go to a guy from Clarendon that I know a lot of people are interested to see is Jamari Davis.
Okay, so we talked about Marcus being the human highlight. That might be human highlight number 2. I mean, you can see in his highlight there's going to be a dunk that's absolutely ridiculous. Whenever I went and watched this kid for the first time, I went and watched him play basketball, and he dunked 10 times in that game.
One game.
10 times. He plays DB, he plays running back. We're going to start him off at running back. We think that's where he's going to stay. I mean, he's got real rush skills, but man, just a great personality and an explosive athlete.
Yeah, you watch it here, like on this spot we're watching here. I mean, when he gets loose, now we're seeing the dunk.
Oh,
it's
our dunk contest is going to be a little bit different. I'm telling you.
When we do the basketball team slam dunk contest, you're going to want to be there for that. How about another guy from this area, from Wichita Falls, Anquan Willis?
Anquan, we're going to start him out at running back. He's played running back, he's played defensive end, he's played linebacker. He's a guy that whenever we talked, when we offered him a scholarship, it went viral. Because you remember it was last year, I just got here, and his team was playing in the playoffs. We told his head coach we were going to call after they won. They won, and he handed the phone to him, and all his team was around. It just went nuts. One of my favorite moments. Whenever talking about offering kids, but real physical kid.
Compared to Taj Brooks, you kind of see that in some of these clips.
He does. He's Taj, and the thing that he also could be is a Krishan Merriweather. I mean, he's that kind of guy that you could see him playing running back, or you see him playing Mike linebacker.
How about T.J. West out of Humble? You talk about speed on the outside. He gives it to you.
Speed, 21.3 in the 200, one of the fastest in the nation. I think in his age group last year was the fastest in the 200 in the state of Texas. We're expecting him to go lower than 20. He went 21.3. We think he's going to be in the 20s. And just a guy that can really take the top off of it whenever you're throwing the deep ball. Great young man. Just all smiles this morning whenever it was official and I got to FaceTime him. But a guy, whenever we really we're looking for some guys that could really run at that receiver position, and he's one that can.
You got another guy that plays a little basketball, Kelby Volson out of Arlington Bowie.
Yeah, so we do this, we're all numbers. Y'all know we're numbers driven between analytics and going for it on fourth down or when we're going to call timeouts. But Jake Pittman, and I know I'm going to get to talk about my staff, but Jake Pittman is a guy that's on staff that came up with a formula that he puts all the receivers through, and it's like targets, catchable balls, 50-50 balls. And then he compares them to like a CeeDee Lamb, Chase, like whenever at that same time. And Kelby had the highest rating of any receiver that we graded this year. I mean, just a guy that can really go get the football. He's got great hands, can play inside or outside, and really excited about him.
Another track guy that you can have is a receiver from El Paso, Demarion Chris Daniels.
So DJ Cress, I was laughing. He goes, "Hey, you put DJ Cress and TJ West together, and good things happen." He is a long outside receiver that can really run. He's got great ball skills, and that's something that whenever we really focused on trying to continue to build. We've got some really good young inside receivers. We're trying to get a little bit younger speed guys at that outside receiver, and so it's going to be good. Both those guys will come in the summer and be ready to go.
Hey, somebody's got to get these guys the ball, and I had a chance to meet this guy earlier, Jake Strong out of Justin. Man, he looks like your prototypical quarterback.
Yeah, QB1. It was huge. Kitley was all smiles whenever we signed him. I've known him and his family for a long time. Just a great group of people. He played for a great coach in high school whenever it comes to training quarterbacks. Coach Poe was a part of the South Lake Carroll with Todd Dodge, and then went to Justin Northwest, and so he does a great job with quarterbacks. What you see with Jake is he's very accurate. He's got a good arm. You don't see it as much this year, but he can really run when he pulls it down. And then two of the best, mom and dad Dad's hilarious, great people, and he can really cook. Our in-home visit, man, he made steaks, and some of the best steaks that I've had. I told him this morning I'm going back in January. Even though Jake is going to be a mid-year, so he'll be here, I'll be in Justin eating with the family.
That's fantastic. And then we look at the class again here, and you mentioned your coaching staff. What a great job, that all these guys do to help you bring this class in.
Well, where we're different is we really do recruit as a complete staff. Right. From all of our ladies in the office, Presley and Leisha and Kate, are writing these parents and all the staff, but the guys that deserve a ton of credit, the coaching staff does. I think our coaches have done a great job developing relationships, and you have to have that because they're the guys that are going to be coaching them. Our strength staff knocks it out of the ballpark whenever they come on visits, but James Blanchard, Brian Nance, Sean Kinney, and Jake Pittman, that is my personnel department. Those guys are absolutely amazing. People try to steal them, but I'm telling you, they're the best in the country. There is nobody that can evaluate talent like those four guys. And you've seen it. You saw guys with no stars that all of a sudden had 4 stars. We find guys before everybody else, and the reason we do is because those 4 guys.
Yeah, ended up in 24 new Red Raiders, so we're excited about that. Lots to be excited about going on right now at Texas Tech football. We'll come back, we'll talk about a little construction, talk about the bowl game, and we'll wrap it up here. You're watching the Texas Tech National Signing Day Show on ESPN+.
The Red Raider Nation has never been larger, never been louder, and there's no place crazier than West Texas today.
We take pride in the fact that we were the only university to participate in a football bowl game, the men's basketball tournament, as well as the NCAA baseball tournament. The only school in the state of Texas.
When you come to West Texas, folks, saddle up. You're going to go on a wild ride.
On senior night, there's so many emotions, right? Because you're playing with some of your brothers for the last time at home. You want to go out. You young guys are sitting there going, man, I'm going to play my best game I've ever played because of Sir Roderick, for Sir Roderick, all right? And then Sir Roderick's like, man, I'm going to play my butt off tonight. My last ride in the Jones. All that is reality, but you need to understand, all you have to do to make the memory you need to make is to do your job. That's it. We've created a brand that we're the toughest, hardest working, most competitive team in the country. Win or lose, we compete. We compete. And that right there will leave us with the memories that we want to have. Now I'm going to tell you, what people don't understand is what's fixing to happen and what's happening right now in West Texas is the logo that's going to own everything is the double T, right? But you got to fight for it. You got to fight your tails off and you got to prove people who you are. And just be us. Because it's about us. Just be us. Everybody understand that? Just be us. And then take
them somewhere they have never been.
TTM on 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Welcome back to the National Signing Day show here at Texas Tech. Robert Giovanetti with Joey McGuire. Coach, we talked about Coach Blanchard, and he put out a tweet a week ago. So this time next week, Texas Tech will have the fastest, most athletic class in the nation signed to be Red Raiders. I simply can't wait. And here we are a week later, and that's true, right?
Yeah, it is. You know, you can. There's a service out there called Tracking Football, and they go through all the verified times, and we have the fastest class in the nation. And you know, that's what we're looking for. We were looking for speed. We were looking for length. We were looking for size, and guys that fit in being Red Raiders. In this class, they fit being Red Raiders.
A year ago, we talked about, hey, you're selling a vision for this program. Now we've seen some movement on the construction. We had as soon as we beat Oklahoma, the Double T scoreboard. You put your back into it, got the Double T scoreboard down, and now we're seeing some real movement. What is that going to mean to this program with this construction that we're having at Jones AT&T Stadium?
It's going to be. It's again, like whenever I'm talking about the fastest class and we can prove it, this is going to be the best facility in the country. It's going to improve Jones AT&T as far as whenever you're in the stadium and the enjoyment of the game. But when you're recruiting to these facilities, but not only that, how these facilities are going to help our student athletes when we're talking about from their academic side. By the way, we had the most Big 12 all. We had the most on the Big 12 all-academic team. We had 41. And so everything, when you put all this together, we're just creating this group or this team that is going to be really healthy, that loves their school, and we're going to get the best of the best in here.
Let's not forget, 2022 is not over. We're going to Houston.
Yeah.
Big bowl game against Ole Miss. Opportunity here for you really to show off your program to a national audience in an NFL stadium against an SEC team. And what we just saw in this class, a huge hotbed of recruiting for us.
Yeah, you know, it's big going to Houston. We've signed a lot of Houston kids, probably the most that we've signed at Texas Tech, so that's good because we wanted to get into Houston more. They're going to get to come watch us. Recruits are going to get to come watch us. A lot of football coaches are going to come watch us practice. And then, you know, you're facing a great team in the SEC. Coach Kiffin is, I said it whenever we first had our press conference, he is a great offensive mind. They're number 3 in the nation in rushing. Yep. They got a true freshman that I think the only guy he's behind is a true freshman is Herschel Walker, so that tells you what kind of rush skills he has.
Pretty good,
yeah, and so this is going to be a great test for us, and it's going to be a great opportunity to go out on the right note. And we've been talking about going out. We've had a good season, and getting to that 8th win is a big deal to these guys, so we're going to go out with it.
It'd be great, and give us an impetus again. We want to mention, can't say it enough, get your season tickets. You can call the ticket office and get on the waiting list and get ready to go and reserve your spot, and we're going to start selling season tickets as soon as we have the schedule announced. Very important. We saw how much it impacts this place when the program, when that place is full and loud and rocking.
You know, it's huge, and I will say, you know it. I mean, as this builds, and it's really building, I mean, it's like a snowball. rolling downhill. You're going to miss out. And so you need to get your tickets. But I can't say it enough how much your support, everything that we do, from the Red Raider Club, I know what they put out with the Matador Club, with the season tickets, like, y'all make a huge difference. And I promise you, our team doesn't take that for granted. We talk about it all the time of the support that we have at Texas Tech.
It's a great time to be a Red Raider. You're a big part of that. We see the guys now. All these guys are Red Raider. Thanks to everyone who put this show together. We've got a great team that helped as well, Coach. You got a press conference to go to?
Let's go.
For Joey McGuire, I'm Robert Giovanetti. Thanks so much for joining us here on the National Signing Day Show on ESPN+.